together in large groups, clinging to pieces of floating debris, trying to encourage each other. Don't drink the salt water, right? Then you dehydrate quickly and you die. Okay, so don't do that. And they tried to keep together, but after a day or so, when all of the effects started to really sink in with these people, some of whom were already injured, they began to hallucinate. And people would begin to see things like, there's an island, look, right over there, an island. And they would start to swim for it. Some of the guys would try to grab them and pull them back, because when they were in a large group, they were relatively safe from the sharks. But as soon as one began to swim away, it was almost no time before gone. And yet for 4 days, they would watch one person after another begin to see things that weren't there. Boats, rescuers, islands, ship, help. And believing that it was just right there. What? Get the rest of you, see this right there, let's go. And off they would swim. And inevitably they would swim to their own destruction. What a tragic story. And yet it's illustrative of what happens to you and I. That we can think we see so clearly something that leads to rescue, that leads to life, that's beneficial, that's good, that can get us out of the mess we're in. And we can want to go for it. And yet when we go for it, all we end up doing is sealing our own harm in life. Because there's a way that seems right, looks right, feels right to human beings, but it just ends in the wrong places. We all need counsel. Every one of us. Not just people who are in deep trouble. In fact, sometimes I wonder if the reason many people end up being in deep trouble is because they never got the counsel they needed along the way. And things have gotten really bad. Now, why is it that it can be so incredibly difficult for us to get counsel? Why can that be so hard? I bet this is a question to me. Why can it be so difficult to do? And at least this is what occurs to me. Maybe you can think of other reasons that are just as valid. But the first reason that occurs to me is just personal pride. Right? Oh, no, we don't want to admit that. But it's kind of like, we don't want to admit we don't know the way. We don't want to. I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to take the marriage I've got and turn it into something good. I don't know how to take the kids I've got and turn them into fruitful, healthy, productive. I'm not sure how to do that. I'm not really sure how it is that I can get rid of this bad habit and become a person of the character I want to be. We're not sure, but our pride keeps us from going. Help! Somebody help! I don't know how I'm supposed to get there. It's a personal pride. Do you know what? Amongst the most liberating concepts to embrace on the planet is this. You ready? 3 words, write them down. I don't know. I don't know. Unbelievable how freeing that is. It takes away the pressure to have to guess and hope that you're right. It takes the pressure of having to defend all of your actions. It takes away. I don't know. Here's what's fascinating. I spend a lot of my time reading. And reading in the secular realm as well as in the religious realm. I read books on leadership and all sorts of things. And the one thing I find in common, whether it be in the religious genre or in the secular genre of the church or leading companies or whatever, a commonality among successful people is their willingness to say, I don't know. Didn't know what to do. I had to get help. Successful people are not successful because their IQ is off the charts, because they somehow know it all. They're successful in large part because they were willing to say, I don't know. And this is so important, I don't think I should guess. So I just need some help. So maybe we shouldn't let our pride get in the way of just going, I don't know. And the second reason that kind of occurred to me, and this one really takes place in religious circles, that we don't ask for counsel is spiritual confusion. If personal pride were not bad enough, there's spiritual confusion. Because I hear this all the time in Christian circles. Sometimes I've heard these words coming out of my mouth. It just happened. I'm just praying for God to guide me. Anybody have a problem with that? Well, I don't. I'm just praying for God to guide me. But doesn't God guide? Absolutely. But how does God guide? Does God say, look, if you just pray for wisdom, what'll happen is I'll get inside your head and I'll whisper just the words you need so that you can end up where you want to be? Is that what God said? No, he said he would provide wisdom. Did he say how? Well, no, he didn't say how. He said he would. How is it that God guides? Well, here's maybe some insight. Book of Proverbs, chapter 12 and verse 15. Here the scripture says, the way of a fool seems right to him. Well, we just touched on that topic a bit ago. But a wise man listens to advice. You see, it is proper to ask God for, to look to God for, to trust God for guidance in our lives. But when we're doing that, as we're doing that, we then need to look for the wisdom God has promised to provide in the places God has promised to provide it. And God says, in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. There is safety. And so we need to abandon this notion that somehow it's like, just me and God will figure it out, because God knows. And I'm going to pray and God's going to guide me. When God said, I want to guide you, but I've also said how. And a large part of that guidance is by getting counsel from others who are where you want to be. First misconception, counsel, you got to ask God to be dispensed by professionals. No, it is to be dispensed in the plan of God by good-hearted people who have learned things as they walk through life and can share some insight and direction on how to get to where they have arrived. And the other misconception is that's only for people in deep trouble. No, it's for every one of us. It's for you and me. Anybody who actually wants to get to where we want to go. So we shouldn't let personal pride or spiritual confusion get in the way. And this little sketch that we watched, I think highlighted at least one other big misconception about counsel. And here's how I would say that one. It's that any real counselor will do. Right? I mean, the girl walked into the counselor's office. Her assumption was, you're a counselor, you must be okay. I mean, any real counselor will do. But the reality is, any real counselor won't do. It's got to be the right one. And that is the truth. The reality I want us to embrace. We've got to get counsel from the right kind of people. And what's the right kind of people? Well, could it be, and we maybe pick this up along the way, that the right kind of people are the people who right now are, or someday, we want to be? They've walked the road ahead of us. They've gotten there. Somehow they learn the way. And they can look back and go, yeah, do this, don't do that, avoid that, do this, work this over time. This is how you end up. I know, that's how I got here. This works. It's the people who've already arrived at where it is we want to be. But that's not normally the people from whom we get counsel. And I think this is true of all of them. Do you know who we normally get our counsel from? Peers. People at our stage of life, our friends, our buddies, our pals, our boyfriends, our girlfriends, whatever. People are basically where we are. And we kind of talk and we bounce ideas on them. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But the point is, most of our peers have not arrived at where we want to be. They're in the same stage of the journey we are. And so we get counsel from friends. And friends are great. We all need friends. But unless they have arrived at a place that we want to be, they're guessing just as much as we are.